And good morning. Welcome to the Darren Summit Cricket Ground, where we are getting set for action on day 4 in this unofficial test. South Africa A versus West Indies A. South Africa A resuming on 68 for 2, and they are in search of a target of 100. Claudius Emmanuel saying good day to all, and welcome to our action. A day in which we believe that we will not be here for long, as the West Indies A, they are out. Coming to the left of your screen is the two batters, for South Africa A. Sinetemba Kweshele, 19 from 26. Marcus Ackerman, 20 from 23. They'll resume for what promises to be a very short fourth day session. They require just the 32, and as we say good day to you throughout the world as you listen to us on your various devices, we also say good morning to Reds Pereira.
Well, South Africa, as you said, only needing 32. They'll be a very happy touring team, no doubt this evening, unless there's almost a miracle, like Rafiq hitting 4 sixes in the World Cup final. But not a drop of rain last night. If West Indies supporters were hoping for any rain, it was a very dry night. Morning full of sunshine. So another good day for cricket.
And it's going to be Jomel Warrican to start, the West Indies A captain, and he will bowl to the left-handed Marcus Ackerman. South African A captain, 20 from 23, a slip and a leg slip to start off with, and opportunity for South Africa A to just put the icing on the cake, Reds. They have a lovely cake on the tour, and just to finish it off nicely.
Well, they were in a little bit of trouble, They were 2 down, for 30?
Punched up to mid-on, and they are off the mark. Ackerman going to 21, 69 for 2.
But that partnership, very important. They not only occupy until the umpires call it off, but they scored some important runs.
Indeed. These two, they have put on 39. And of course, 100-run target, not really a big requirement. So South Africa A, having done the hard work on days 1 and 2, just concluding nicely on day 3, pushing up into the offside. Kweshele, no run.
As you look back, you could say, when did the West Indies lose it? When did South Africa win it? That partnership, when they were 7 down, turned out to be key. That got them up to a mighty good score of 332.
They were 167 for 7.
Yep.
When Engelbrecht and Deswat came together, and they put on a partnership of 159 down the track, lofting over the head of Atenes, who will have a chase into the long off boundary and will pull it back. Kweshele coming back for 2, taking the total to 71 as he goes to 21.
A South African day at Lord's and a South African day at the Darren Summit.
Well, question is, will it be a South Africa day at the 3Ws Oval? The women are starting today.
Well,
in fact, they're starting just about now.
They can have a triple
in their ODI. Back goes Kweshele, punches into the covers, no run. And Reds, it actually shows, I think, was it Coxie? We were having a discussion earlier. The amount of cricket that we have nowadays. I mean, cricket has become an all year round thing. Forward is Kweshele to complete the first over of the morning. South Africa A, they have progressed to 71 for 2. They need a 29 to win. So lots of cricket, white ball, pink ball, red ball, and Here's a good example today. South Africa A, their fans, their attention is split between 3 games.
Yep.
World Test Championships at Lords,
Yeah.
West Indies A versus South Africa A here, as well as South Africa women versus West Indies women.
The
in
West
August.
Indies, South Africa women will probably go into the afternoon because it's a later start.
No, it's actually starting now,
Yeah.
together with
okay.
this, yeah.
But as you said, you talk about a pink ball coming up in Jamaica later on.
Absolutely. So, cricketers, commentators, officials, they are engaged in action all year round. There was a time that we had a cricket season. For the West Indies, it was essentially January to, let's say, June. But Lane starts and ball wide of off stump, but cricket all year round now.
It wasn't that late because the West Indies players who playing in English county championships used to pack up at the end of April and off to the English championships in May.
Indeed. Now we've got cricket. So South Africa women versus West Indies women. We have been showing you the graphic on our 360 streaming. Lane bowls a shocking delivery, very wide of the return crease, called wide by umpire Taylor. South Africa getting closer to the target by 1, 72 for 2, 28 needed.
Any overnight reactions to the West Indies 16
No, not that
on
I
the social media?
didn't really follow any, but I'm sure there was. I think it would have been a discussion point on Sports Max, the original platform seen across the Caribbean. I'm sure there were other outlets that would have had it pushed up to Joseph at mid-on by Ackerman, 72 for 2.
Well, I went home, had a little bit of a nap, and thought about it. And my first feeling was Hodge maybe a little unlucky.
Athens maybe can say the same too. Although, to be fair, I think Hodge had a better championship 4-day than Athens. Short and dropping short of the self-same Athens. Hodge came back from Pakistan and hit 100 for the Windwards Volcanoes, but none from Athens.
Just 100 in England, Hodge. Yep.
Just 100 in Australia as well, didn't he?
Yeah, sure. So, hard luck on maybe Hodge. But that's the game. You got to keep getting runs to get back in.
Ackerman is getting 1 to the right of Joseph at mid-off as he drives pleasantly, taking him to 22, 73 for 2, 27 needed.
You know, you can say maybe a little tough on Philip. You've given him what was a virtual test trial. He did everything, but they've invested in Lane looking down the road.
Yeah, and we saw Warwick starting with himself and Lane. Of course, the difficulty is with just 32 needed Reds, everybody can't get a decent workout. 3 slips to Lane. Short, no ball. And Imlach taking it. So umpire Taylor with the signal.
Where it got competitive for the selectors to find places for people is you had Hope coming back into red ball and King brought back. Now, King's red ball career of late has been very limited.
Lane. Shelley lets it go. It comes back over the off stump, maybe middle and off. But I think Shelley thought he had it well covered, playing it, letting it go on length. And Imlach taking that outside of the leg stump to give you an indication of how much it came back. So a case maybe of Chase and King being the two who pushed out the two Dominicans, Atenes and Hodge.
Possibly. I think Atenes might have made a case with more runs.
Wide of off stump lane, ignored by Kweshele at the end of the over. The second of the morning, South Africa A needing 26 to win.
You got me up very early this morning because you promoted the World Test Championship. So I got up, had a coffee. I also looked at the English papers. The defeat by England against Senegal 3-1 is a major talking point. They have gotten as much inches as South Africa, Australia.
Oh, England beaten by Senegal?
Senegal is a major story. I mean, the German who is now in charge is under a lot of pressure.
Not surprising. It's quite remarkable, Reds. England, such a big football country, but at the international level, their record not all that impressive in World Cups. Just the one World Cup win for them in '66.
Well, yeah, 1966, yes. Bobby Moore, Ramsey the coach.
Single to Ackerman. A bit of a collision there between Warwick and Kweshele. Warwick ends up with Kweshele's bat. But the single taken in the end. South Africa, 25 more to win.
Bad news to Trinidad. They lost hard 2-1 to Costa Rica in an important game.
Driven straight to Andrew, no run.
St. Lucia beating Barbados 2-1 last night. A game that they really needed to win.
Yeah. Got a few minutes of that, but didn't really have the time to take in more of it.
I was watching the end of the Trinidad game, but then the chess championships were also on. I decided I had to make a switch.
Outside off stump. Warwick and almost teasing Kweshele, who was bitten in the flight initially and then sort of bailed out of the stroke, looking to come down at it. Bails being broken by keeper. No damage done. Quick single to mid-off. Atenes can't stop it.
Over.
End of the over. 76 for 2. South Africa 8. They need 24 to win.
Watching the South Africans this morning and seeing the talent here, I was saying, now how this talent is going to ever get in, you know? And when you look at the South African reserves, you know, waiting in the wings, it's pretty hard to make the South African senior team right now.
Well, it's good for the South Africa outfit. It means that there's competition to get in, and so it keeps the first side, the top side, always on their toes, and it would certainly improve the quality of play of the back foot. Talking about quality, that's a quality stroke. Punched away by Kweshele out to the extra cover boundary for 4.
Thank you.
Pushing South Africa A closer to the target. They're 20 away as Kweshele standing up straight and punching that nicely through extra cover for 4.
He's got an attacking feel, so Warwick can cater for the length. He just bowled.
Bringing up the 50 partnership. Kweshele contributing 21, Ackerman 23. Lane again. Loose drive from Kweshele. Wide one. Looking a little naughty there playing at that.
Well, he would kick himself for getting out now with 20 left to win. People like Steve Waugh, they never throw their hand away. They're going to be knocked out just about every time.
Correction, the 50 partnership, Ackerman 21 and Quishele 26, the individual contributions. Back of a length delivery, single being explored there by Ackerman is not on.
I was trying to get what's the interest like with ticket sales, but I just can't get a reaction from anyone in Barbados. There probably would be an Australian posse, no doubt. But how much pre-tickets has been sold?
Lane will be a happy man this morning, announced in the West Indies 16-man squad for that first test against Australia on the 25th. Ball them! Oh, what a good delivery. That came back. And as Castle, the right-handed Quishele. So success for the young man Lane, getting one on target and going through the gate. Good success for him. Quishele playing back and beaten for pace. Lovely delivery.
Yeah, lovely delivery. The over went Quishele's way earlier. A lovely shot through squarish cover. But he came back with a very good delivery. He was a little late into the shot. So just about when we were talking about him getting an opportunity to be in a West Indies squad, with maybe looking towards the future, I did send him a note to a friend of mine in Barbados and said, tell me about Lane. He said, well, remember Shamar Joseph out of the blue? Well, maybe Lane could be another out of the blue success.
And we have seen his ability with the bat, so useful all-round talent. Maybe not quite yet to be designated an all-rounder, but showing that he's got ability with the bat. So 80 for 3, the new batter, Pretorius. The left-hander, number 27, Luhandre Pretorius. And not many runs left, Reds, but still opportunities for a couple of wickets, 2-3 wickets for Lane and company. It will do their confidence a world of good.
And 1 for 16. Very cool. Wind not a major factor. The weather's not a major factor either.
So Pretorius, the left-hander, coming in. In the first innings, he was caught M-Latch bowled Graves for 20. And would want to, no doubt, stay there with his captain to knock off the remaining 20 runs. Lane, in the South Africa A first innings, he had 17 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 58. So he would want to continue to pick up wickets as he will bowl to the left-handed Pretorius. 3 slips waiting. Pitched up delivery, pushed the mid off, no run.
And South Africa wouldn't want to lose too many more wickets in getting that 20. I mean, they want a convincing win, you know. You don't want a limping win.
That's right. And I think Ackerman and Pretorius would no doubt want to carry it to the target of 100 without further loss. I think the loss of Quishele would be a little disappointing to the South Africa A. Pretorius driving up to extra cover, no run. End of the over, a successful one for Lane. An over in which he conceded 4 runs, but picking up the wicket of Quishele. South Africa A, they are 80 for 3. They need 20 more to win.
Yes. And West Indies making a fight of it. South Africa were doing their stretches as per usual. Even some of the reserves were, in fact, with the coaching staff who didn't play, going through the motions. But the West Indies came out and they have not been lackluster. They're not just giving away the game. Slip and a leg slip.
This is how he started, Warwick. So just sending Lane towards the boundary at deep backwards square leg. Reverse sweep, edge taken, also a peel going up maybe for LBW. 1 run taken, leg by signal by Bazaraf. So the big reverse sweep by Ackerman. Ball coming from the hip region, but no real possibility of that being given out to LBW. 81 for 3 after the over. JJ will get an opportunity to come in, otherwise he will not be used today because it's just 19 required. Clipped away by Pretorius for a couple to get him off the mark. Total going to 83 for 3.
Yes, I don't think we'll see Shama Joseph. No need for him to come in. Done enough yesterday to pick up 2 for 40 and bowl with a lot of concentration, intensity, bowling quick, bowled a lot better than he did in the first innings.
Leg slip pulled away. Pretorius defending to extra cover, no run.
So the series, which were all played in St. Lucia, coming to an end today. Well stopped.
Low full toss. So Warwican starting with himself and Lane. We suspect those two will maybe be the only two used. Let go by Pretorius as it spins down the leg side. 2 deliveries left in the over. Warwican to Pretorius again. Using his feet down the track and hitting down too long off for 4. Over the head of Philip at mid-off. The over comes to an end. 87 now for 3. As South Africa getting closer and closer as we hear more from Reds, and then it will be JJ.
So 13 to win. Cool conditions. So the focus on the West Indian public will be first of all in St. Kitts in Barbados today with the South African women against the West Indies, and of course the upcoming test match in Barbados. The test championships will continue. Welcome, JJ.
Thanks, Reds.
Lane, driving, square line shot. This could well finish in this over. Pitched up, beautiful shot. The left-hander coming on in touches, coming on in form. He didn't get a lot of runs in the ODIs, but he's looked a much better, longer format.
Ackerman, a real classy play, and what a way to welcome me to the come box. That was an exquisite drive. A thing of beauty when a left-hander drives for the covers. Ackerman has distinguished himself on this tour.
Ackerman moving to 27. Again goes for the flashing blade. This will probably, well done, picked up by the third man coming around. So the 7 to win. 7 to win. And JJ, I think as a young commentator, it's only right that you have the honor of finishing the game. Lane.
Thanks so much, Reds. A good manipulation of the bat face from Ackerman. He stares this one down to the third man region for 2. Ackerman Ackerman is walking across the stumps and whipping this one with the wind. And all the way for 6. Reds, well, you had called it. This might just finish in this over. And what a lovely treat that was. Ackerman picking his spot with the breeze. Classy, elegant, powerful.
Oh, well, I felt it could finish because of the early boundary. And I think I called it right to ask you to take up the commentary at the end. Sorry I couldn't give you another over or 2. But that's not my fault.
That's perfectly fine. And the class and quality of South Africa would have to take part of the blame as well.
Are they having a change of the ball?
Yes, I
Yes.
think that some damage was done to that one. It hit the wall pretty hard.
It couldn't survive another delivery with 1 to win. I think Roland Cox will probably have to research that. Was there ever a ball change in a 4-day game with one run to win?
Just want to win. And it's a no ball. Can you believe it, Respirer? It's a no ball. Anticlimactic end to the game. Wow.
Well, that's the victory to South Africa. We have seen no balls before. I remember in a certain CPL game, Lewis was, I think, close to 99 or something like that. And Pollard bowled a wide. And that was the end of that. A deliberate wide. And don't think that was deliberate because they wanted to get as many balls in. So handshakes around and the tradition of the 2 teams meeting will soon take place. But the series finally had ended, and I would think that the South African selectors would be extremely pleased with their selection, and just about everybody looked the part, and everybody seemed to be very talented.
Yes, certainly. And even with the men who were brought into this game, they all at certain points in the game really raised their hand and distinguished themselves. You think of Engelbrett, brought in for this game, half century. You think of Pongwana, a good all-round game.
Yep. Didn't play in the 1 days, but looks to be a genuine all-round in the making.
Yes, and even those who were kept for the 2 games maintained the quality. Silly, Mareki. These guys looked a cut above.
We are not placed to where we can get the South African captain because we are on the far side of the ground. The players are towards the Kaimanje end, but if that was possible, we certainly would have brought it. So the West Indies reserves coming out, and the 2 teams now beginning to meet, to shake hands. Overall, I think the spirit was good between the 2 teams, but I think Claudius made an important point that maybe the South African management must have a word with some of the batsmen, because they've showed a little bit of a remonstration, a demonstration, whatever you want to call it,
Yes.
when given out.
Yes, and certainly not what you would want to see, especially if these players have aspirations of making it to the higher level, the highest level. But you had mentioned the captain of South Africa, Ackerman, and for me, he's been the standout player of the tour.
You're very bold to pick him. There'll be so many stands out. I mean, it's an outstanding side. Well done.
Yeah, with a double century, it's just
Yeah, I
hard
know.
to look past
You're
that.
probably right. No doubt
Yeah.
about that. Well, just in case we have some viewers joining us, South Africa overnight at 68 for 2, needing 100. They got 100 for 3 off 19.3 with Ackerman not out on 35 and Pretorius not out on 6. Krisheli, the man to go, bowled by Lane for 26. and South Africa winning this by 7 wickets. And their test side at Lords, I don't know if we can maybe pop up a very quick score. They had Australia on the run, but Webster has managed to survive. He had a terrible time against Rabada. Smith is gone, so it's been a South African morning at Lords and a South African day here. What's the latest score there, JJ?
Well, it's lunchtime now, and Australia 100 and, well, tea time, 190 for 5. Smith did get a half century, and that man Webster is on 55 not out.
Yes, but when you saw the perils of his early innings, but showed a lot of character, fought it through, and trying to put together a partnership, but not a lot of batting to come. But you never know about the South African late order. Cummins could come and play an important role. So the end of an A series, which I think was good for the West Indies, the development program. As we bring this to the end, we could say that there's another good development program with the academy playing Sri Lanka and Antigua.
Yes, players getting some good exposure, and credit must be given to the board with all of this cricket that we've been seeing, and with the aim of developing our youngsters, proper preparation for the next level.
So that's about where we'll wind up. I'd just like to thank the 360 organization for inviting me to be part of this. It was quite a surprise, but I haven't done any commentary since 2019. I was happy to be back and made a small contribution, and I very happy to have made a bit of a contribution to the commentary. JJ, it was probably good experience for yourself as a young commentator.
Yes, it definitely was, working alongside you. Great man in the comm box, Claudius. Quality of the 360 broadcast was pretty high. Good camera work, good work in the background. Our statsman, Roland Cox, did an excellent job. And again, credit to the board for organizing this tournament. We saw the future of West Indies cricket on show. Some of them have acquitted themselves well with the bat against a very good South Africa A team. Lots of those players have distinguished themselves, waiting in the wings for an opportunity. New cycle starting after this World Test Championship final, looking forward for their opportunity to represent South Africa. They've done themselves no harm with some great performances on this tour.
Well, the next activity looking forward at this ground will be the CPL, with Kings being the defending champions. But it's time, as the players chat among themselves, to say goodbye on behalf of the 360 organization, their technical team. Congratulations, men, for doing a very good job. Roland Cox, an excellent job. And special thanks to JJ and Claudius Emmanuel. This is Red Pereira, virtually saying goodbye for many reasons from the Darren Sammy.